Russian forces launch massive multi-front offensive, precision artillery, tanks, TOS-1A and drones strike Ukrainian strongholds across 6 battlefronts. Russian forces intensified offensive operations across multiple sectors of the front, carrying out a series of coordinated strikes involving rocket artillery, self-propelled howitzers, tanks, thermobaric weapon systems, reconnaissance drones, and precision-guided munitions. According to the Russian Ministry of Defense, units from the Sever, Zapad, Vostok, and Center groups of forces simultaneously engaged Ukrainian positions in the Sumy, Kharkov, Zaporizhzhia, Krasny Lyman, and Dnipropetrovsk directions in an effort to disrupt command and control capabilities, eliminate fortified positions, and weaken Ukrainian frontline defenses. The large-scale operations highlighted Russia's continued emphasis on combining reconnaissance, unmanned aerial systems, precision artillery, and rapid battlefield coordination to strike high-value targets before Ukrainian units could relocate. Grad MLRS destroys fortifications in Sumy region. One of the opening attacks was carried out by a BM-21 Grad multiple launch rocket system crew from the 34th Separate Guards Motorized Rifle Brigade, Mountain, operating under the Sever group of forces in the Sumy region. Russian military officials stated that reconnaissance assets identified Ukrainian fortified defensive positions occupied by personnel. After receiving confirmed coordinates, the Grad launcher rapidly deployed into a firing position. Within minutes, dozens of 122mm rockets were launched in a concentrated salvo, saturating the designated target area with high-explosive fragmentation warheads. The bombardment reportedly destroyed field fortifications, firing positions, trenches, and shelters occupied by Ukrainian troops. Shortly after completing the strike, the launcher repositioned to avoid potential counter-battery fire, following standard shoot-and-scoot procedures widely employed by Russian rocket artillery units. Hyacinth batteries strike UAV command posts in Kharkov region. In another sector, Hyacinth artillery crews from the 244th Artillery Brigade, also operating within the Sever group of forces, conducted precision fire missions against Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicle command centers in the Kharkov region. Russian reconnaissance drones reportedly detected concealed UAV control stations coordinating reconnaissance and strike drone operations. After receiving targeting information, the long-range artillery batteries opened fire, delivering high-explosive shells against the identified command posts. Russian officials stated that multiple UAV coordination centers were destroyed together with concentrations of Ukrainian personnel positioned nearby. The destruction of drone command facilities is intended to reduce Ukrainian reconnaissance coverage while limiting the effectiveness of artillery spotting missions. Vozdika's self-propelled guns burn Ukrainian strongholds. Further south in the Zaporizhzhia region, self-propelled artillery crews equipped with TOS-1A Gvozdika systems from the Vostok group of forces targeted heavily fortified Ukrainian defensive positions. Reconnaissance units identified reinforced bunkers and defensive strongholds supporting Ukrainian frontline operations. Following target confirmation, the artillery batteries opened sustained indirect fire. According to Russian reports, repeated shell impacts ignited ammunition storage areas and destroyed defensive structures, forcing surviving personnel to abandon their positions. The strikes were described as preparation for continued offensive operations in the area. Zapad group targets fortified UAV headquarters. Meanwhile, artillery units of the Zapad group of forces carried out another counter-UAV mission in the Kharkov region. Russian intelligence reportedly detected a fortified Ukrainian UAV command post protected by defensive earthworks. After confirming the target's location, artillery crews conducted a concentrated bombardment. Russian military sources claimed the strike eliminated both the command facility and Ukrainian personnel operating nearby, reducing the enemy's ability to coordinate drone reconnaissance and artillery correction missions. The attack formed part of a broader campaign aimed at suppressing Ukrainian unmanned aerial capabilities along the front. Krasnopol M2 precision strike hits forward command post. On the Dnipropetrovsk direction, soldiers of the 268th Self-Propelled Artillery Regiment from the Center group of forces employed one of Russia's most accurate artillery munitions. Using a TOS-19 STAS self-propelled howitzer, artillery crews fired a Krasnopol M2 precision-guided shell against a Ukrainian forward command post. Unlike conventional artillery rounds, the Krasnopol M2 uses laser guidance to engage individual targets with significantly greater accuracy. Russian military officials stated that reconnaissance teams illuminated the target while them STAS fired from a concealed position. The guided projectile reportedly struck the command facility directly, destroying command equipment and disrupting battlefield coordination in the area. The strike demonstrated Russia's continued integration of precision-guided artillery with forward reconnaissance elements. TOS-1A Solntsepyak thermobaric strike in Krasny Lyman direction. In the Krasny Lyman direction, a crew operating the TOS-1A Solntsepyak heavy flamethrower system from the Zapad group of forces conducted a devastating thermobaric strike against a Ukrainian stronghold. Following reconnaissance by radiological, chemical and biological protection, RKHBZ, specialists and UAV operators, Russian forces identified a fortified defensive position obstructing the advance of assault units. The coordinates were transmitted to the Solntsepyak crew, which launched thermobaric rockets capable of producing intense blast waves and high temperatures across a wide target area. Russian officials stated that the fortified position was completely destroyed. Immediately after firing, the launcher executed a rapid counterfire maneuver, relocating to another position to avoid enemy retaliation. According to the Russian Ministry of Defense, the destruction of the Ukrainian stronghold enabled assault detachments of the Zapad group of forces to continue advancing in a strategically important sector near Krasny Lyman. D-30 guns and Grad rockets coordinate attacks. Elsewhere in the Zaporizhzhia region, artillery units of the Vostok group of forces carried out coordinated fire missions combining conventional tube artillery with multiple launch rocket systems. A D-30 122mm howitzer crew first engaged Ukrainian defensive positions, destroying strongholds identified through reconnaissance. Following the initial bombardment, Grad MLRS crews launched additional salvos against Ukrainian UAV command centers. The coordinated attacks were intended to eliminate observation posts before assault operations while denying Ukrainian drone operators the ability to observe Russian troop movements. Tank crews destroy UAV command posts. Russian armored units from the Vostok group of forces also conducted direct fire missions in the Zaporizhzhia region. Tank crews reportedly engaged concealed Ukrainian UAV command posts using accurate cannon fire. According to Russian military reports, the strikes destroyed command equipment responsible for coordinating reconnaissance drones operating over the battlefield. Officials stated that eliminating these positions deprived Ukrainian forces of the ability to conduct effective aerial reconnaissance and artillery fire adjustment within that section of the line of contact. Reconnaissance UAVs exposed Ukrainian supply routes. Near the settlement of Sharivnoye in the Zaporizhzhia region, reconnaissance units of the Vostok group of forces reportedly intercepted an attempt by Ukrainian troops to resupply frontline positions. Russian fixed-wing unmanned aerial vehicles monitored the area and detected movement along concealed logistics routes. Drone operators not only identified supply vehicles but also discovered hidden concentrations of Ukrainian personnel positioned near the routes. Target coordinates were immediately transmitted to Grad MLRS crews belonging to the 35th Combined Arms Army. Within minutes, multiple launch rocket systems fired high-explosive fragmentation rockets across the designated area. Russian military officials reported that the strike destroyed the identified supply elements, personnel positions, and logistical infrastructure, disrupting the planned resupply operation. Center group fires on Ukrainian troop concentration. In the Dobropoli direction, another Grad MLRS crew from the 35th Separate Guards Motorized Rifle Brigade operating under the Tsenor group of forces carried out an artillery strike against a concentration of Ukrainian personnel. Reconnaissance drones reportedly monitored troop movements before confirming the target. Following receipt of firing data, the launcher delivered a full rocket salvo, saturating the designated area with fragmentation warheads. Russian officials claimed the strike inflicted significant losses among Ukrainian troops preparing defensive operations. Rubicon Center expands drone operations. Russian military officials also highlighted the growing role of the Rubicon Center, whose unmanned aerial systems continue supporting operations across several sectors. According to official reports, Rubicon drone operators carried out attacks against Ukrainian personnel, armored vehicles, military equipment, unmanned aerial vehicles, and communications infrastructure. Beyond conducting direct strikes, the drones also performed battlefield reconnaissance by identifying high-value targets and transmitting their coordinates to Russian Aerospace Forces aircraft. This rapid exchange of targeting information enables combat aircraft to launch precision airstrikes against command posts, logistics facilities, and troop concentrations with reduced response times. Russian commanders described the integration of drone reconnaissance with artillery and aviation as one of the key components of modern battlefield operations, allowing multiple combat arms to engage targets in rapid succession. Combined arms operations across multiple fronts. The reported operations demonstrate Russia's continued reliance on synchronized combined arms warfare. Rocket artillery, conventional tube artillery, tanks, thermobaric weapon systems, reconnaissance UAVs, electronic coordination, and precision-guided munitions were employed simultaneously across several operational directions to attack command posts, fortified defensive positions, logistics routes, UAV control centers, and concentrations of personnel. According to the Russian Ministry of Defense, reconnaissance assets confirmed the destruction of the designated objectives after the strikes. Artillery crews and rocket launchers then conducted rapid relocation maneuvers to reduce exposure to Ukrainian counter-battery fire before preparing for subsequent missions. The battlefield claims described above originate from Russian official military statements. Independent verification of the reported damage, casualties, or operational outcomes has not been possible.